From Lawndale High School, Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television, Channel 22, presents the High School Game of the Week. Good afternoon, I'm Mike Kennedy with the play-by-play. Welcome to Lawndale High School as the first-year head coach, Robert Martz, now in the Pioneer League, sends his varsity. It's the first year for the varsity squad here at Lawndale against a crosstown rival, the Leuzinger Olympians. The Cardinal on the year with a record of 1-5. They are 0-2 in Pioneer League action. And for Joel Romero, the head coach at Leuzinger, they're off to a fast start. They're 7-4 with a record of 4-0 in the Pioneer League. This is the first broadcast of a Lawndale High School baseball game and only the second broadcast of a Lawndale High School event on campus here. So welcome aboard. You're watching the Game of the Week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television. For the Olympians, they'll lead it off with their shortstop, Fernando Cabral. And on the mound will be with a bunt down against Salazar, and there's no play. So Enrique Salazar is the starting pitcher for Lawndale this afternoon. A runner on, nobody out. We're just underway here on a breezy afternoon from Lawndale High School. School is only 5 years old now. A runner on, nobody out. It brings up second baseman Johnny Membreno, and the throw goes over to first. Defensively, Jenks behind the plate. Gillum at first, Savio at second base, Lamos the shortstop, Carpenter at third. McKellian in left, Williamson in center, and Camacho in right. The runner goes, and Jenks with the throw down, and sliding in with a stolen base, Fernando Cabral. So runners at second base now after the steal, as Cabral led off the game with a base hit. Mark Brancato is the umpire on the bases, and Willie Holmes calling balls and strikes behind home plate. Down and out of play on the left field line. Today's game directed and produced by Tom Strickfaden. Collieri and Randolph will be on deck for Leuzinger. Cabral led off the game. Reached on an infield bunt, stole second. Salazar delivers an attempted bunt, and it's a called strike. Count now to Membreno. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Out of a stretch. Again, down the left field line. Giving chase, left fielder McKellian, and it's out of play. Membreno batting .467 on the year. Salazar out of the stretch again. The 1-2 delivery. Fastball outside. Evens it up at 2-2. Randolph on deck, the third baseman, followed by Jason Dixie, the catcher. So it'll be Cabral, Membreno, Randolph, and Dickey in the first for Leuzinger's Olympians. Fouled away into the screen. Again, Leuzinger 7-4 overall and 4-0 in Pioneer League play. Lawndale in their first year of varsity competition, they're 1-5 and 0-2 in the Pioneer League. Coach Bartz has got a young squad. Salazar with a delivery. And he gets his first strikeout on the afternoon. Membreno goes down swinging. So one down, a runner at second. It brings up Randolph. Runner in scoring position. The runner breaks, and Salazar stumbles off the mound. It's going to be a balk called. So the balk sends Cabral over to third. A rough first for Enrique Salazar, the junior right-hander with an 0-2 record on the year. Cabral at third, makes a break from third, and the delivery just missing, low and outside. One ball, no strikes. We're just underway. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Colarian Randolph. Cabral down from third to the shortstop with a long throw. The toss is high, but it's handled. Nice play by the first baseman, Gillum. The Carpenters make that Lamos long toss from the hole at shortstop. Cabral comes in to score, and it's 1-0 here in the first. Leuzinger on 1 run on 1 hit. Catcher Jason Dixie. Dickey steps in to Lamos. He juggles it and he boots it. So an infield single, a stolen base, a balk, and a fielder's choice allows Cabral to score. And with 2 outs, Dickey is on an error by the shortstop, Lamas. Carpenter comes to bat with a .353 average. Slices it into right field. Camacho gives chase. Goes all the way to the right field corner. And Leuzinger stays alive with runners at second and third on a double by Jose Carpenter. Second hit in the inning. Cabral led off the game with an infield bunch single. So 2 down, and a costly error by Lamos has allowed Dickey to move all the way around to third. That brings up the first baseman, Paez. Looks at a fastball outside. Steven Paez. Left-hander with a .324 average. Runners at second and third, 2 down, top of the first. Slices it into left. It's going to drop. 2 runs are going to score. Randolph comes all the way around. Dickey and Carpenter. So Dickey scores from third. Carpenter all the way from second. 3 hits, 3 runs in the inning. 2 RBIs for Paez. Keeps the inning alive. Brings up the pitcher, Sergio Dorado. Paez off first, and the delivery is low for ball. One error, one balk so far in the inning. 3-0 Leuzinger over Lawndale. And it's fouled down the third baseline. Top of the first. Pretty good start here for Leuzinger. Cabral reached first on an infield bunt single, came around to score. Salazar struck out the number 2 hitter, Membrano. Dickey reached on an error. Carpenter had a base hit, and then a single by Paez. Two down, a runner at first. 3-0 Leuzinger. We're in the top of the first here from Lawndale High School, our first broadcast of a Lawndale Cardinal baseball game. The teams will match up again this coming Thursday over at Leuzinger, and we'll be there to cover all the action on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television. The pitch is outside. Two balls, no strikes. To Drago. And Dorado draws a walk. So Salazar walks the opposing pitcher. Paez down to second. Dorado on at first. And stepping in is Sean Scales, the left fielder. 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 error here in the first. Salazar misses high. Runners off first and second. Paez off second. They check. They try and chase him back. And here's a throwback to the shortstop, Lamos. Paez is back in safely. Here's a good shot of Enrique Salazar, the starting pitcher for the Lawndale Cardinal this afternoon. Pitches inside. Jenks recovers it as it rolls a few feet to the right side. 2 balls, no strikes. Dorado with a big lead off first. They check the runner at second. And a nice save by the catcher, Jenks. Dorado with a walk is on first. Paez with a single that drove in a couple is off second base. Out of the stretch. Salazar's delivery with a swing and a miss. 2 balls and a strike. In an earlier broadcast against Hawthorne, Leuzinger was able to capitalize on a couple of errors by Hawthorne, score 5 in the bottom of the first. Here they've got 3 in the top of the first. The pitch is outside. A rough start for Salazar. 3-1 is the count. Again, checks the runners at first and second. The 3-1 pitch. Called strike 2. Willie Holmes behind the plate, calling balls and strikes. Mark Brancato is the base umpire. Well, we missed a strike there, so that was a called strike 3, and Salazar gets out of the inning by striking out Scales. It's 3-0 Leuzinger with Lawndale coming to bat in the bottom of the first. We'll be back with the Leuzinger batting order right after we pause for this timeout. You're watching the Game of the Week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Television, Cable Channel 22. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Game of the Week. I'm Mike Kennedy with the play-by-play. Crosstown rivals, Leuzinger and Lawndale. Leuzinger gets 3 in the top of the first. And that'll bring up the Cardinals here in the bottom of the first. Leading it off, Brian Williamson. On the mound is Sergio Dorado with Jason Dickey behind the plate for Leuzinger. Paez, Membrano, Cabral, and Randolph at second, short, and third, respectively. And going left to right in the outfield, Scales in left, Carpenter in center, and Marshall in right field. It'll be Williamson, Salazar, and Jenks. In the bottom of the first, ground ball, Membrano slips, goes down, and makes the play over to first. And it's an infield error charged to Membrano. But Lawndale has their first runner of the afternoon. Leuzinger scored 3 runs on 3 hits and 1 error in the top of the first. Dorado looks at the runner. Williamson is back. And Salazar back to the mound, goes to the shortstop. Nice throw over to first, and they get a double play out of it. Cabral, unassisted, gets the force out at second, and then over to the first baseman, Paez. So Salazar grounds into a double play. 6 unassisted, 3. And we've got 2 down, brings up the number 3 hitter, the catcher, Michael Jenks. Pitches high for a ball. Tom. To left field, right in his tracks. It's Scales making the catch. So Lawndale goes down 1-2-3 here in the first. We're coming back with the top of the second inning with Leuzinger leading Lawndale 3-0. You're watching the game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television, Channel 22. Welcome back to Lawndale High School. Leuzinger leads Lawndale as we go to the top of the second inning, 2-0. A reminder that Channel 22, Lawndale and Hawthorne Cable Channel 22, covers all the local sports activities for the Hawthorne High School Cougars, the Leuzinger High School Olympians, and the Lawndale High School Cardinals. So we'll be here to cover all the action all season long. Tom. And the count goes to 1-1. Andre Marshall, a right fielder for the Olympians, with his first at-bat facing Salazar. And a fastball inside. Count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. 3-0 Leuzinger. We're in the top of the second here from Lawndale. Rough inning for Enrique Salazar. 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 error behind him. And he added a balk to his own troubles, but he was able to get out of it, leaving 2 men on base at second and third as he struck out Sean Scales to end the inning. And he gets back-to-back strikeouts as Marshall goes down looking for the first out here in the top of the second. So maybe he'll settle down with his second inning on the mound, and that'll be back to the leadoff hitter for Leuzinger, Fernando Cabral. Cabral with a .474 average on the year. Reached with a bunt single. Stole second, came around to score after he was balked over to third. So he's 1 for 1 this afternoon. Squares again to bunt. They charge from first and third, and he pulls the bat back. Pitch is outside. Carpenter coming in from third. Gillum from first. Salazar delivers. This one's high and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Just the first year of varsity baseball for Robert Bartz. Here's the head coach. And the Cardinals, they field a young team, but he sees plenty of hope for the future. Pitch is outside, and the count now 3 balls, no strikes. Just 2 seniors on this squad. For a strike. 3-1 now. First chance at varsity experience here in the Pioneer League. Salazar gives up a walk. That's his second walk in the ball game. He walked Dorado back in the first. So the leadoff hitter, Cabral, is on for the second time in the game. Brings up the shortstop, Membrano. He struck out as he faced Salazar back in the first. Checked the runner at first. Held down by Gillum. It's got a wide lead. The pitch is a wild pitch to the backstop, and Jenks overshoots the pitcher as he returns the ball. Second stolen base of the afternoon now for Cabral. Membrano. 1 ball, no strikes. And the delivery. Count goes to 2-0. Cabral scored the first run back in the first as the Olympians picked up 3. Salazar to the stretch, checks the runner. Chop to the shortstop. Off balance throw. And the first baseman Gillum is not able to handle that wide throw by Lamos. Cabral comes all the way around from second to score, and it's 4-0. Second error in the ball game now for Lawndale. Membrano reaches on the throwing error by Lamos. And brings up Randolph, and Randolph is 0 for 1. Four runs, 4 hits for Leuzinger. 2 errors now for the Cardinals. Membrano off first, and Randolph steps out of the box, asks for time. He's back in the batter's box. Salazar delivers. This pitch is high. Counted 1-1. Randolph is the Olympians' third baseman. Bats in the number 3 position. The runner goes on a hit and run, sliced down the right field line, and it goes foul. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. We have 1 down. Andre Marshall led off here in the second inning and struck out. Cabral was walked, stole second. Came around to score on Lamos' throwing error. Membrano reached first on the error. And Randolph at 1-2 is in the box. That brings you up to date, 4-0. Leuzinger Top of the second inning. Membrano with a sizable lead. Looped over the shortstop. It's going to drop in. Five hits now for Leuzinger. Membrano on to second. Randolph with his first hit today. And the catcher, Jason Dickey, will be the batter. Grounded out. Reach first, back in the first on an error by the shortstop. So runners at first and second. One down, one run in the inning. Salazar delivers to Dickey. Fastball for a strike. Dickey cocks that bat high behind his right shoulder. Out of a stretch. Check swing. And Willie Holmes says, yes, he did. He went around. Salazar ahead on the count. No balls, two strikes. Membrano off second. Randolph from first. Charging in. Trying to make a diving play on the ball was McCallion. It rolls by him, fielded by the center fielder, Williamson. He brings it back in, but not before one run scores, as Membrano scores from second. Randolph around to third, and Jason Dickey with a double. Makes it a 5-0 Leuzinger lead here in the top of the second inning. 6 hits, 5 runs, 1 error. McCallion with a do-or-die effort out in left field. Couldn't make the play. It rolled by him. He got good support from Williamson, his center fielder, to come back and retrieve it, bring it back in. 2 runs in the inning. Coach Robert Bartz goes to the mound, tries to settle down the junior right-hander. Runners at second and third. Pitch for a strike to Carpenter. Carpenter's 1 for 1 with a double in the first. Came around to score the third run on Paez's single. Here's the pitch away from Jenks. The runners are not able to advance. No balls, 2 strikes now. 1 down. They're going to throw to third. Diving in is Randolph. The 0-2 delivery to Carpenter. Past the diving second baseman. 1 run is going to score. 4th hit in the inning. 3rd run to score. Savioa makes a diving attempt. Not able to haul it in on the ground ball. Three runs here in the second to match the 3 back in the first. And And brings up the left-handed hitter, first baseman Steven Paez, who drove in a couple. He pops it up. And the left fielder McCallion comes in to make the catch for the second out. 2 down. Runners at first and third. Dickey's at third. Carpenter at first. Stepping in is the pitcher, Sergio Dorado. Dorado was walked back in the first. Check the runners. The runner from first breaks. First pitch swinging. McCallion in left. Makes the catch. So they leave a couple, but they score 3 in the inning on 4 hits, and Leuzinger takes a 6-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the second inning. You're watching the Game of the Week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television, Channel 22. We'll be back with the bottom of the second inning. Welcome back to Lawndale High School. You're watching the Game of the Week on Lawndale Hawthorne Cable Community Television, Channel 22. It's 6-0, Leuzinger over Lawndale as we go to the bottom of the second. Leuzinger scored 3 in the first on 3 hits and 3 more runs in the second inning on 4 hits. Lawndale guilty of an error in both the first and second, so they have 2 errors on the afternoon. Lead off and first pitch swinging is the left fielder McCallion, and he flies out. So we've got 1 down on a fly out to left. Savioa comes to the plate, the second baseman. Leuzinger's also left 2 runners on in the first and 2 on in the second, so they lead 6-0 in the bottom of the second with 1 down. Dorado delivers with a strike. This one to the shortstop. He makes the long throw, and Cabral gets the second out in the inning. So far, an easy inning for Leuzinger Olympian pitcher Sergio Dorado. 2 up, 2 down on just 4 pitches in the inning. And it brings up third baseman Thomas Carpenter. The right fielder Edgar Camacho will be on deck. For a strike. Count now goes to a ball and 2 strikes to Carpenter. 2 down, bottom of the second inning. Fouled off at the plate. So the count at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Number 6 hitter for the Cardinals, third baseman Thomas Carpenter. This pitch is up and in. Dorado into the windup. Fouled off, back into the screen. The 1-2 delivery. That'll be up. Count now goes to full at 3-2. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Nobody on. 2 outs. Popped up. First baseman Paez is going to handle it for the 3rd out in the inning. Dorado sends down the Cardinals 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the 2nd. We're going to the top of the 3rd with Leuzinger leading Lawndale 6-0. You're watching the game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television Channel 22. We'll be back with the 3rd inning. Welcome back to Lawndale High School. You're watching the game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television Channel 22. It's 6-0 Leuzinger over Lawndale. As we go to the top of the 3rd, it'll be Scales, Marshall, and Cabral. Fouled off at the plate. Sean Scales struck out in the 1st against Salazar, the first time he faced him. 6 runs on 7 hits for Leuzinger in the first 2 innings. They've left 4 on base. Called strike 2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Scales on the year with a .313 average. Has a count at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Leadoff hitter in top of the 3rd. Marshall on deck. And he gets him swinging for the 1st out. 3 strikeouts now on the afternoon for Enrique Salazar. Stepping in is Andre Marshall, a right fielder. Marshall's one of those strikeout victims in the 2nd inning. Fouled off at the plate. Willie Holmes calling balls and strikes. Takes some time. He'll clean off the plate. On the bases, umpiring Mark Brancato. Top of the 3rd, 6-0 Leuzinger. Leuzinger with a record of 7-4 and 4-0 in Pioneer League play. They're undefeated. Count goes to 0-2. For Lawndale, their first year in varsity competition, they're 1-5 on the season, 0-2 in the Pioneer League. Salazar ahead, no balls, 2 strikes. Check swing, pitches outside. 1-2. Just missing inside. Count evens up, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cabral on deck. 1 down, nobody on. 2-2 delivery. Fouled out of play. Again, 2-2 to Andre Marshall. And he goes down swinging, so back-to-back strikeouts for Enrique Salazar. Strikes out Scales and Marshall. Registers 4 strikeouts in the game. Trails 6-0 though. That brings up the leadoff hitter Fernando Crabal has reached a base his first 2 at-bats and scored 2 runs this afternoon. Reached on a bunt in the first, walked in the second, came around to score. Pitch was inside. Now it's wide. 2 balls, no strikes. 2 down. Salazar has yet to set Leuzinger down in order. Lamos, it's short, juggles, now he throws, and it's his 3rd error of the ball game. So the sophomore shortstop having a rough afternoon. Allows Crabal to reach. He juggled it, and then the throw was too late. Johnny Membrano, the second baseman. Toss is wide over at first. Gillum retrieves. The runner breaks, looking for his 3rd stolen base, and the throw by Jenks is high. Crabal has stolen a base in each inning today. 3 stolen bases for the afternoon. Membrano with a chance to drive in a run to the 3rd baseman. Carpenter. Throw is short in the dirt. Gets by the first baseman, Gillum. Coming all the way around to score from second base is Crabal. One run in the inning. So Salazar was able to get the first 2 batters, Scales and Marshall, on strikeouts, and then the defense has let him down as the shortstop Lamos and 3rd baseman Carpenter both have made errors, and they've given up a run. No hits in the inning as Randolph steps in. 7-0. Pitch is high. Calarian Randolph, Olympian's 3rd baseman, wants time, digs in. Look at him move that right foot. Now he's ready. Cocks that bat high behind his shoulder. Pitch is high, up and in. Steps out of the box, checks with the third base coaching line. Four errors for Lawndale today. To left field, drops in front of McCallion. And they're going to bring Membrano around to score, and diving in at second base with a head-first slide is Randolph. Eight nothing now with 2 runs in the inning with 2 outs. One hit in the inning, 2 errors, and 2 strikeouts for Salazar. So it's been an up and down outing here in the third. Dickey behind the base. Lamos' throw is late, and he beats it out for an infield single. Randolph will hold up at third. Runners now at first and third. Same situation in the second inning. Leuzinger left, 2 on base at first and third. Jose Carpenter, the center fielder, will come to bat. So it looked like Salazar was going to settle down. He struck out the first 2 to give him 5 strikeouts in the game. And then a couple of fielding errors by the infield. And back-to-back hits. The runners at first and third. This one's looped into shallow center field. And coming in is the right fielder. He comes all the way across. Camacho makes the catch for the third out. So Leuzinger scores 2 more. They leave 2. They have 2 hits in the inning. Lawndale commits 2 errors. And as we go to the bottom of the third, Leuzinger leads 8-0 over Lawndale. You're watching the game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television Channel 22. We'll be back with the third inning. Welcome back to Lawndale High School. We're going to the bottom of the third. 8-0 Leuzinger. They scored 3 in the first, 3 in the second, and 2 more in the third. Leading it off, Edgar Camacho, the right fielder for the Cardinals. Eight runs on 9 hits, helped out by 4 errors by Lawndale. Pitch is fouled away by Camacho. It'll be Camacho, Lamos, and Gillum here in the bottom of the third. Pitch fouled away at the plate, and it's 0-2. Dorado on the mound, Dickey behind the plate. Paez at first, Membrano at second, Kerbal at short, Randolph at third. Sets the infield for the Olympians. That pitch is low. And the outfield, left to right, it's Scales, Carpenter, and Marshall. And down swinging goes Edgar Camacho. We've got 1 down, and stepping in will be Jose Lamos. First strikeout for Dorado. 5 strikeouts for Salazar. Pitch to Lamos is low, ball 1. The 1-0 delivery, swung on and missed. Chopper down third, and it rolls foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a shot of Lamos, the shortstop. 1-2, and takes the pitch low. Count goes to 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Slice toward first in foul territory. Paez over to make the second out. Stepping in will be first baseman Jeremy Gillum. Dorado has sent Lawndale down 1-2-3 in the first and second inning. And he's got the first 2 hitters here in the third. Yet to give up a hit. And a pitch is up. Counted 3 balls, no strikes. One runner did reach base. He was taken out on a double play after reaching on an error. And now the second runner of the afternoon for Lawndale, as Gillum is on with a walk. Back to the top of the order as Williamson comes to bat, and now a close play on a toss over to first, and they almost picked off Gillum. Center fielder for the Cardinals reached on an error by the second baseman Membrano in the first. Put on a double play. He was eliminated with a swing and a miss. Williamson, just a junior. Pitch inside. Count goes 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 down, a runner on. Out of the stretch. Called strike. One and 2 to Williamson. Gillum off first. 8-0 Leuzinger. We're in the bottom of the third here from Lawndale High School. Fouled at the plate. They'll come right over to us and pick it up. It's our coverage of our first varsity baseball game with Lawndale High School, and we're going to have Lawndale Leuzinger again later this week, Thursday, in Pioneer League action from Leuzinger. Pitch is outside. Now the count goes to 2 and 2. The runner off first with a big lead. Called strike 3 looking. So Lawndale leaves a runner at first. Williamson strikes out. We're going to go to the top of the fourth. It's 8-0 Leuzinger over Lawndale. You're watching the game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television, Channel 22. So on the wild pitch, Dorado advances to second, and then Scales slices one away from the right fielder Camacho, who's not able to make the catch. And Scales cruises into second with a double. 10 hits on the afternoon. A run in. Leuzinger leads 9-0. Scales at second. Dorado scores from second. We've still got 1 out. New pitcher started the inning. Savoya on the mound for Lawndale. Aaron Savoya out of the stretch, checks the runner, Scales, and delivers. It's a nice diving effort by Camacho. Wasn't able to make the catch. And Scales doubles on the 3-2 pitch to drive in Dorado. He stands as second. Marshall steps out of the box. Breaking ball, he hangs it up high. 2 balls and no strikes. Marshall struck out in the second and then again in the third. Here's the pitch with a swing and a miss. Down goes Marshall. Let's check that. 2 balls, 1 strike. He walked away as if he had struck out for the second out in the inning. So it's 2-1. Marshall stands in. They're trying to chase Scales back at second. Take a look at him. And the pitch is up and in. So now it's 3-1. Andre Marshall at 3 balls, 1 strike. He's got to be looking for a pitch to hit, trying to drive in Scales. It's 9-0. 10-0 is the mercy rule. Whether or not both coaches agree to that after 5 innings, that's something that is predetermined. So the pitch is outside. Marshall's on with a walk. Runners now at first and second. Second walk giving up in the inning by Savoia. And we're back to the top of the order with Fernando Crabal, who has scored 3 runs, has 3 stolen bases. Has reached on a hit, an error, and a walk. So he's had a full day at the plate. Comes to bat here in the top of the 4th. 1 run is in. 9-0. Runners at first and second. And the pitch is high. So the 10-0 lead, if the coaches have agreed prior to game time, the mercy rule could go into effect. Pitch is high. 2 balls, no strikes. Runners off first and second. Nice stop, pitch in the dirt, and the runners will advance. Jenks down on his knees to block it. Marshall moves on to second. Scales goes over to third. 1 run in the inning. Just 1 down. Pitch for a strike. Cabral sees the pitch go outside on the 3-1 count, and he draws a walk to load the bases. 3rd walk given up by Savoia here in the inning. Walk to Rado, who came around to score. Also has walked to Marshall, who now stands at second, and walks Cabral, who's at first. Johnny Membrendo, second baseman, who has scored twice today. Here's a pitch in the dirt and a play at the plate, and Scales is tagged out for the second out in the inning. Good hustle by Jenks. Wild pitch, retrieved it, dives back in at the plate. Scales trying to advance from third. The other runners move up. Marshall goes over to third. Cabral on to second. 2 down. And a pitch is low. So Jenks makes a nice play at the plate to tag out Scales, and we've got 2 outs. 2 on. Top of the 4th, 1 run in. Slice to center, and making a diving catch is Williamson. So Leuzinger leaves 2 more. They've left 8 on base, but they've scored 9 runs, and they lead 9-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. You're watching the Game of the Week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television, Channel 22. Welcome back to Lawndale High School. We just checked with home plate umpire Willie Holmes. No mercy rule in effect this afternoon. So we go to the bottom of the 4th. It's 9-0 Leuzinger over Lawndale. Leuzinger scored a run in every inning they had. 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, and 1 in the 4th. 9-0. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Dorado still on the mound. The hitter is Enrique Salazar, who started on the mound. He hits it right back to the pitcher. And over to first, Dorado makes an easy play. One down. Just a chance to thank some of the people who helped get this broadcast on the air. We want to thank Larry Bender and Chris Lay of Hawthorne Community Cable Television. Jenks pops it up, flies out to left. Scales there to make the catch. I also want to thank the principals at both high schools, Fred Gomez Terheo at Lawndale and Dr. Russ Thompson over at Leuzinger. And also a thank you goes to Alex Acosta, the athletic director at Lawndale High School, for his assistance. One more thank you goes out to the Lawndale City Council and the Hawthorne City Council. Big supporters of the athletic programs here in the South Bay at all 3 schools, Hawthorne, Leuzinger, and Lawndale, and they assist us in getting this broadcast on the air. Center fielder Williamson. Make that McCallion comes to bat. Count at 3 balls, no strikes. And, of course, our crew today, Eric Chavez, Norma Gilbrook, Alonzo Gonzalez, and Paul Knapp have helped us put this broadcast together. Directed and produced by Tom Strickfaden. McCallion draws a walk. And brings up the number 5 hitter, Aaron Savoya, who is now on the mound. He started at second base this afternoon. And he comes up with 1 on and 2 outs and fouls it off at the plate. There's a look at Dorado. Not giving up a hit this afternoon. Through 3 innings. He's got a no-hitter going. Count now at 1-1 to Savoya. Out of a stretch. And the pitch called strike 2. Ken McCallion leading off first, reached on a walk after the first 2 batters were retired. Ground ball to Randolph. Strong arm, good throw. So Lawndale leaves a runner. They have yet to record a hit this afternoon. We've gone 4 complete here from Lawndale. The score stands Leuzinger 9-0 over Lawndale. You're watching the Game of the Week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television, Channel 22. Welcome back to Lawndale High School. 9-0 Leuzinger with a 9-run lead over Lawndale. 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth. We go to the top of the fifth. It'll be Randolph, Dickey, and Carpenter for the Olympians. Unless Joe Romero wants to make some changes. Savoya on the mound, his second inning of work here for Lawndale. And Randolph steps in, first pitch swinging right at the center fielder, and for the second time in a row, we've seen Williamson slip and go down and make a catch on one knee. So with one pitch, one down. Dickey and then Carpenter here in the top of the fifth. Dickey takes his time, looks down the third baseline. Head coach Joel Romero gets the sign. Check swing, yes, he goes around. Jenks behind the plate. Gilliam at first. Salazar's moved over to second now. This one's fouled away, out of play. Lamas is the shortstop. Carpenter the third baseman. McCallion in left. Williamson in center. Camacho in right. That sets up Lawndale Cardinals defensively here in the top of the fifth. 0-2 pitch in the dirt. Dickey fouls it off again. Dickey is 2 for 3, reached on an error in the first, doubled in the second, singled in the third. Now he strikes out, it gets away from Jenks. He's going to record it down at first with a nice throw. And we've got 2 down. 6 strikeouts combined for the pitchers today. Salazar opened the game. He recorded 5, and now Savoya, who's been in, this is his second inning of work. That's his first strikeout. We're going to take time. Ask Jose Carpenter to tuck that jersey back into his uniform pants. And now we're ready. 2 down, top of the fifth. Savoya was able to set Leuzinger down 1-2 in the fourth inning. And then the next 3 batters reached base, and they scored 1 run. Here's the pitch. Outside. 2 balls, no strikes. First baseman Steven Paez is on deck. Savoya takes a deep breath and delivers. Count goes 3-0. Carpenter steps out. Willie Holmes is telling Joel Romero just 1 on-deck batter in front of the Leuzinger dugout. 9 runs, 10 hits for Leuzinger. We're in the top of the fifth. They have a 9-0 lead over Lawndale. And a pitch is low. So 4 straight pitches, and Carpenter draws a walk. Two down with the runner at first. Stephen Paez, who is 1 for 3, singled in the first, flied out in the second and in the fourth. Now with a wild pitch, Jenks is going to make a throw, and it's too late. Carpenter advances on the wild pitch. 1 ball, no strikes to Paez. So Leuzinger keeps their streak alive. They've had a runner at second base in 5 straight innings. Lawndale's yet to have a hit in the ball game. The pitch is low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. The left-hander sees it outside. 2-1. Jenks is going to go to the mound. Talks with Savoia. Aaron Savoia, just a freshman for the Cardinals. Getting plenty of work with the varsity. Here's the pitch. Paez takes, called strike 2. Pitch was a little high, is what the response is from the Lawndale supporters. Carpenter off second. Count goes full at 3-2 now. Dorado on deck. Out of his stretch. The pitch to Paez. Into left center. And Paez drives in a run. So Carpenter comes around from second. 11 hits this afternoon, 10 runs for Leuzinger's Olympians. And Leuzinger scored in every inning. Sergio Dorado, the pitcher, who is throwing a no-hitter through 4, comes to bat for a strike. Dorado walked in the first, flied to left in the second, walked again in the fourth, and came around to score. Now he takes a full cut. No balls, 2 strikes. Savoia's ahead on the count. 0-2. Paez off first. 1 run in the inning. And a pitch is outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Aaron Savoia checks the runner. Big lead off first. And then he strikes out Dorado to end the inning and leave a runner. So Leuzinger gets 1, leaves 1, and leads 10-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. You're watching the game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television, Channel 22. We go to the bottom of the 5th, 10-0 losing over Lawndale. And the interesting storyline is that Sergio Dorado, the starting pitcher, still in the ballgame, is throwing a no-hitter this afternoon through 4 complete. Thomas Carpenter leads it off and swings and misses. The 0-1 pitch to Carpenter. Pops that one up. Dorado calls for it, and he drops it. So an error on the pitcher. That's the second error this afternoon for Leuzinger. And you can't blame that on the Sun because the Sun is at his back, but he booted it. First baseman, I thought Paez was going to call him off. Pitches inside. The swing and a miss. Camacho takes called strike 2. The right fielder is 0 for 1, struck out in the third. Big jump off first, and they almost picked off Carpenter. Now the count goes to 1-2. Dorado delivers on the outside corner, just missing. We've got 2-2 to Edgar Camacho. Camacho digs in, taps that right front foot, and we're full. 3-2. Nobody out, a runner on. 3-2 delivery. Sliced at the left fielder. It's going to make the catch. And we've got one down. That'll bring up Jose Lamas with one out. Runner at first. In front of the plate, Dorado makes a wild throw handled by Paez, who comes over and makes the tag. So the first baseman saves Dorado, his second error in the inning. We've got two down. Carpenter advances over to second. Brings up Gillum. First baseman stands in against Dorado. And Lawndale still looking for their first hit. This is as far as they've had a runner today, too. Now with a pickoff play, they throw back to the shortstop. And Cabral makes the tag, and they pick off the runner, Carpenter, at second base to end the inning. So through 5 complete, it's a no-hitter for Sergio Dorado. And Leuzinger leads Lawndale by a score of 10-0 as we go to the top of the 6th. You're watching the Game of the Week on Lawndale Hawthorne, Cable Community Television, Channel 22. Sean Scales will lead it off here in the top of the 6th. 10-0, Leuzinger over Lawndale. Still a no-hitter for Dorado. A couple of errors behind him, and he committed one of those. And Savoya delivers called strike. Pitch inside again. No balls, 2 strikes. And down goes Scales. So 8 strikeouts so far for the Lawndale pitchers this afternoon. Struck out 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 more in the fifth, and now 1 here in the sixth. One down as Marshall comes to bat. Two balls, no strikes. Cabral on deck. Pops it up. Lamos at short. Comes over. Drifts to the second base side and makes the catch. Well, they've made a change. They've put Salazar at shortstop. We've just been notified, so Salazar makes the catch. Salazar was today's starting pitcher. So Marshall flies out to Salazar, and we've got 2 down. Here in the top of the 6th, it's 10-0, Leuzinger over Lawndale. Another pop-up. Salazar's going to call for it, comes in, and so for the first time this afternoon, Lawndale shuts down Leuzinger, sets them down 1, 2, 3. So they go scoreless here in the 6th. We've gone 5.5. We're coming back with the bottom of the 6th as Lawndale's Cardinals will come up. You're watching the Game of the Week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television Channel 22. Welcome back to Lawndale High School. It's the bottom of the 6th inning, 10-0 Leuzinger over Lawndale. Sergio Dorado for Leuzinger with a no-hitter going into the bottom of the 6th. Leadoff hitter will be Gillum, who was left at the plate. In the bottom of the 5th inning, when the pickoff play from Dorado to the shortstop, picked off Carpenter. Now here's a ground ball taken to the first base bag, unassisted by Paez. So we've got 1 down. Leuzinger goes scoreless in the top of the 6th for the first time. They did not score a run in an inning this afternoon. They had 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third. Single runs in the 4th and 5th. Back to the leadoff hitter. It's Brian Williamson, the center fielder, the junior today. Reached on an error in the first, struck out in the third. So he's 0 for 2 and a swing and a miss. We're in the 6th inning. From Lawndale High School. Pioneer action. Pioneer League play finds Lawndale with an 0-2 record, while Leuzinger is in first place with a 4-0 record. Two strikes on Williamson. 1 down, a no-hitter for Dorado. Pitches low. Salazar is on deck. Slow ground ball, shortstop, makes the play at first. And it's a scoop by Paez from a low throw from Crabal. And we've got 2 down. Enrique Salazar, today's starting pitcher, who's finishing up at shortstop. Hit into a double play back in the first. Grounded back to the mound in the fourth. He is 0 for 2. We have 2 down. 10-0 Leuzinger, bottom of the 6th inning. To Randolph. And it's a 1-2-3 inning and still a no-hitter for Dorado as he sets down Lawndale in the 6th. It's 10-0 Leuzinger over Lawndale. You're watching the game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television 22. We're coming back with the 7th inning. So in the top of the 7th, Membrano, Randolph, and Dickey come to bat for Leuzinger, leading 10-0. Savoy in his 3rd inning of work. Salazar has gone to shortstop. Lamos has moved from short over to second base, so that's how they set up defensively. First pitch swinging, fouled out away down the left field line. Ahead on the count. No balls and a strike. When we go to the bottom of the 7th, it'll be Jenks, McCallion, and Savoya for Lawndale. Here's Salazar. Nice backhand throw to first. 1 down. And the reason we're looking ahead is because Dorado is pitching a no-hitter this afternoon against Lawndale. Brings up number 3 hitter. It's a Randolph, and he's had a big afternoon. 2 for 4 and scored a run today. Bottom of the 7th with 1 out. Aaron Savoya on the mound. The pitch is outside. Dickey is on deck with 1 down. A big cut. Randolph is a 6'2", 170-pound junior. In the hole, Salazar tries to short hop it, can't make the play. It goes through and splits the outfielders past McCallion and Williamson. So it'll be a single and an error in the outfield, allowing Randolph to advance to second. That's his 3rd hit today. 12 hits on the afternoon now for Leuzinger. And stepping in is the catcher, Jason Dickey, who's been catching that no-hitter through 6. Pitch is high. 1 ball, no strikes. We're in the top of the 7th with 1 out. A runner at second. They'll check him out of the stretch. And the pitch. A 1-hopper. 3rd baseman juggles, now throws. They get the runner from first, as diving in at 3rd base is Randolph. So Carpenter juggled it, but he was able to get the throwaway and nail Dickey for the 2nd out. Smart base running by Randolph, who waited for the throw and then advanced over to the 3rd. So runner at 3rd with 2 down. Jose Carpenter is the batter. Pitch is high. Carpenter coming into the game batting .393. He is 2 for 4. Has singled and doubled this afternoon. Now for a strike. Savoia delivers with a runner on third. Salazar takes his time over to first. So that's the top of the 7th as Leuzinger leaves a runner at third. We're going to the bottom of the 7th. Dorado with a no-hitter on the line, and we're coming back with more action here from Lawndale. Welcome back to Lawndale High School. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Leuzinger leads Lawndale by a score of 10-0. And Sergio Dorado with a no-hitter this afternoon against the Lawndale Cardinals. In the 7th, it's Jenks, McCallion, and Savoia. And Jenks, first pitch swinging. Up the middle for a base hit. And that breaks up the no-hitter. So, first pitch swinging, bottom of the 7th, and Mike Jenks leads it off with a single. Still a shutout to salvage for Sergio Dorado. He's going to pitch out of the stretch. McCallion, the left fielder, will come to bat. First hit of the game, solid single up the middle. Now this pitch is pulled foul down the left field line. Still not a bad afternoon's work so far with a one-hitter. Retired the first 3 batters in every inning. Through the 4th. Furthest a runner has reached was second base. Only runner has reached second on the afternoon. The pitch is fouled away. Count should go to no balls and 2 strikes to McCallion. He steps out of the box. Nobody out, a runner on. They broke up the no-hitter. Now the pitch is high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This one popped to left. Scales makes the catch. And we've got 1 down. Bringing to bat the pitcher, Aaron Savoia. Been watching the game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne. Cable Community Television Channel 22. We want to thank our crew again. Eric Chavez, Norma Gilbrook, Alonzo Gonzalez, and Paul Knapp. Our producer-director today is Tom Strickfaden, and we want to also thank the principals at both high schools, Fred Gomez-Terheo at Lawndale High School and Dr. Russ Thompson at Leuzinger High School. Diving play by Randolph at third, the long throw, and it's ruled a foul ball. So Randolph played it out as if it was fair and made a nice diving stop, but it's called foul. We also want to thank Lawndale High School Athletic Director, for his assistance, Mr. Alex Acosta. We've got a rematch of today's game coming up over at Leuzinger this coming Thursday, as Leuzinger will host Lawndale, and I'm sure Lawndale would like a little revenge after they've been blanked today, 10-0. They've got the runner going with a diving tag. He slides by, and into second base goes Jenks. Down goes Savoya for the second out in the inning, and brings up Carpenter. So Carpenter takes time, checks down third base coach's box. One hit on the afternoon for Lawndale. Check the runner off second. Chopped back to Dorado. He'll take his time. Throw to first in the dirt. Nice scoop by Paez. And that'll end the ball game, and Leuzinger will come away a victor by a score of 10-0, as Sergio Dorado gives up just one hit on the afternoon. He is the winning pitcher. His record goes to 3-1. Enrique Salazar is the losing pitcher. Again, we want to thank both head coaches, Robert Bartz at Lawndale and Joel Romero at Leuzinger, for all their assistance in preparing for today's game. You've been watching the game of the week here from Lawndale High School with the final score, Leuzinger 10-0 over Lawndale. I'm Mike Kennedy. I wish you a pleasant good afternoon. You've been watching the game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television Channel 22.